Be Marsh Boxing back at it with another down a prediction. This is for the fight we got coming up. PBC on FS1. I believe it's gonna be on a Sunday. I think that's gonna be I don't know, January 13th, Sunday. Sundays usually football days, you know what I mean? NFL. So I know January 13th, that's gonna be around playoff time, you know what I mean? So that particular day, I think that particular Sunday won't be no games going on in the evening at nighttime. You know what I mean? Because usually on 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 playoffs during January, let's say on Sunday, they're gonna start the games at 1 o'clock. They might be only two games that particular Sunday, so they'll start at 1 o'clock, and the next one will be at 4 o'clock. You know what I mean? So they probably end at 7:30. That means evening time, Sunday night is going to be straight up boxing, man. And who says PBC and calculated and ain't, trying to do what they got to do to put boxing on for all eyes around the world. You know what I mean? More eyes on the sport. It'd be ridiculous to try to put this PBC on FS1 card on a Sunday night that there is football. And I haven't checked the schedule. But believe you me, I can guarantee you that particular night there won't be no football on for sure. So big ups to PBC. But this my breakdown and prediction for this spectacular fight we got coming up. Better fight than anything I've seen on the zone, that's for sure. And this is just cable TV, FS1, you know what I mean? 17-0 Caleb Plant, 10 KOs versus 28-2, 20 I believe Uzcategui 28-2 with 23 KOs. 6'1", 7'4", 6'1" tall, 74-inch reach for Caleb Plant. And I'm sure the other guy who's got the gay, he's definitely taller and longer, you know what I mean? He's 6'2" and a half, 76.5" reach. Now this is a spectacular fight, man. When I seen these fellas up there on that PBC on Fox Gala, that event they had with guys like Lennox Lewis up there, I was like, hey, yeah, buddy, I can't wait for this, man, because, Uzcategui has been a guy that I seen live, and them fellas, man, he's a fighter, man. This is a classic style right here between boxer and puncher, you know what I mean? The slick boxer being the white dude from Tennessee, Caleb Plant, and Uzcategui, the Venezuelan based out of Mexico, Tijuana, Baja California. He's gonna be the one who's definitely the puncher, but no question about it. You know what I mean? Now this fight, I probably this fight is it's a hard one to predict. Caleb Plant, these guys who are really haven't proven themselves or have fought a lot of bums. I'm not going to say I never predict and say just because you fought a lot of bums that on your step up fight you ain't gonna beat your opponent. Nah, I don't ever think like that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you got to show me, you know what I mean? Look at the guy that Dog Bay fought. Who was that guy? That big Mexican. You know what I'm saying? People slept on the guy. That guy came in there and did his work, man. He beat the shit out of Dog Bay, you know what I mean? Look at Warrington. Josh Warrington versus Frampton. By far, Frampton has more experience, fought the better fighters. The only recognizable name for Warrington, live name was Lee Selby. And who's Lee Selby? Exactly. But you see, I didn't ever pick Warrington to lose to Frampton. You know what I mean? I knew he'd put in that work. He'd give him the business. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's not all about experience. It's about skills. You know what I'm saying? You could have a guy who's 30-0, have all the experience in the world, versus a guy who's 21-0, who ain't fought nobody. But he comes in, he'll whoop that ass. He'll tax that ass. You know what I mean? Now, Uzcategui, like I said, man, he's definitely the puncher. Caleb Plant is going to be the slicker guy in there. Definitely got the faster hand speed. I'll probably say got the better footwork too, you know what I mean? But that gets offset by the man Uzcategui, who's excellent at cutting off the ring, you know what I'm saying? The guy Uzcategui is a vicious puncher. A guy who he was first put on my radar when I seen him fight versus the guy Matt Korobov. You know what I mean? Korobov put him on the canvas twice. You know what I'm saying? But then again, that was a drained, what's his name? Uzcategui. That was at middleweight. You know what I mean? Korobov, he did outbox him. You know what I'm saying? But Korobov has an extensive amateur background. You know what I mean? Man has over 300 fights. Excuse me. Has over 300 fights, and Uzcategui was kind of green at that time. But Uzcategui, ever since then, man, once he put on that beating on Julius Jackson, the chef, uh, Julian Jackson, Hall of Famer now, his son, the chef, the guy will be coming in the ring with the chef's hat. You know what I mean? I think that guy Julius Jackson needs to. It's obvious his first love is to cook. I think he should stay out of boxing and just go ahead and cook. Go chef up some eats. You know what I mean? Cause man, his chin ain't built for boxing. I'll tell you that for sure. You know what I'm saying? His chin ain't built for boxing. But Uzcategui, I think he'll be stalking his opponent, you know what I'm saying? Throwing some body shots, trying to slow Caleb Plant down, you know what I mean? Caleb Plant, yeah, he looks slick against guys like Porky Medina, but then again, who doesn't look good against Porky Medina, you know what I mean? Yeah, Porky Medina can punch, you know what I'm saying? And he wasn't even close to knocking out Caleb Plant. And I'm only going to refer to that fight between Caleb Plant and Porky Medina because that's the only dude he fought who's worth talking about. You know what I mean? Caleb Plant fought a lot of bums. No, ain't no shame in his game. He's on his way up, right? You check it. He's trying to get them title shots and building his name up. But truth of the matter is, those guys that he fought are not even worth mentioning. You know what I mean? Definitely by far the man Uzcategui got a better resume. You check it. So Porky Medina, that fight was, I believe, early in 2018. It's gonna be about a year since Caleb Plant's been back in the ring. You know what I mean? And I'm worried about that. You know what I'm saying? That's not a good recipe for going into a title fight, you know what I mean? Maybe he might be fresh or maybe he might needed some tune ups, you know what I mean, to stay active. But I think that the man Uzcategui is gonna put he's gonna put apply pressure on this guy, be resilient, stepping on the gas, you know what I'm saying? Trying to walk down the opponent, smother him. He's going to have the guy on the ropes a lot, in my opinion. Caleb Plant, you know what I'm saying? Caleb Plant going to be trying to fight off the ropes, and he's going to be vulnerable in that position. I believe Caleb Plant is vulnerable in any position. If the man Caleb Plant even tries to stand in the pocket with the man Jose Oscar-Tegay, he's going to get knocked out. You know what I mean? Yeah, Caleb Plant believes he's a slick fighter. He displays the traits of a slick boxer. You know what I mean? But who against? You know what I'm saying? He's done that against some bums. You know what I mean? Straight up. But Uzcategui, he's knocked out. Hey, you see what he did to the Matrix. What's up, Mike D's in the chat? He says, I got Jose. What's good, B Marsh? What's happening, big man? He says, I think Jose is the best 160 pounder, in my honest opinion. You might be right, man. We shall find out after this fight we got coming up. You know what I mean? But I believe, Caleb Plant, if he wins this fight, I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked, man, because you know what I'm saying? Them fellas, Caleb Plant, he ain't been in there with the guy like Uzcategui, man. What Uzcategui did to the slick boxing Andre Durrell, he took, Andre Durrell is the Matrix, you know what I mean? A very slick boxer, guy who has good head movement, a guy who can get out of the way of punches, and he's a fabulous boxer. But I was there live for that first fight, Andre Durrell versus Uzcategui at the MGM National Harbor, and man, that event was lit. That fight when that Andre Durrell uncle snuffed the man, he snuffed the man Uzcategui with the sucker punch. Oh man, it was chaotic in there. And right before that, one of the Durrell brothers or uncles, no Durrell brothers, a dude with dreads, he was in the crowd, man, throwing punches, man. It was chaotic up in that piece, you know what I mean? It was, and it was one of my best and favorite moments ever attending a live fight, you know what I mean? And I know that the man, I picked Uzcategui to beat Durrell. And sure enough, Darrell weaseled his way out of there. They did the rematch, and guess what Uzcategui did? He made the man retire. You know what I'm saying? That man ain't want to report back for the eighth round. You know what I mean? He retired on his stool. under the tutelage of what's the guy's name, Virgil Hunter. You know what I'm saying? Now that fight, I believe Andre Durrell. If Andre Durrell and Caleb Plant fought right now, it'd be a 50-50 fight. You know, it probably might be a 51-49 fight. You'd have to favor Caleb Plant because he's the younger dude. The man Durrell, you know, Durrell is a bronze medal Olympian from 2004. We in 2019, Playboy. That's a long time ago now. You know what I mean? And that's the only reason I would favor the man Caleb Plant. You know what I mean? But prime for prime, I definitely pick the Matrix to beat Caleb Plant. You know what I mean? But I'm not going on no triangle theory. You check it because at the end of the day, Caleb Plant and Uzcategui have not fought each other yet, and they will be doing that for the first card on PBC on FS1 in January. And I think Caleb Plant, he just doesn't possess the knockout power to keep Uzcategui off of him. And Uzcategui is a relentless body puncher, one of the better guys at 168 at cutting off the ring and just applying pressure. Whether Caleb Plant's on his back foot, the man Uzcategui is going to be all up in his grill. Whether they stand in the pocket and trade shot for shot, man, that jab and pot shot shit ain't gonna work with Uzcategui. He's gonna get knocked the fuck out. Was goody Brooklyn Child Boxing Talk was good, son. How you feeling, man? Happy New Year to you. He's in the chat. Says Happy New Year was good, man. Same old, man. Just enjoying January 2nd, and before I make my moves, make my runs, hit up these post offices and shit. Got to drop this prediction one time. You know what I mean? Brooklyn Child Boxing Talk says I got Uskat the Gay, and he says I think this is a great fight. No question about it. This is a great fight. This is one of the better fights we got coming up for 2019. Excuse me, because you know we've been seeing Caleb Plant on these PBC on FS1 cards. I seen him talking mad greasy with James DeGale. James DeGale said he about to slap the shit out of him in front of his girlfriend. Caleb Plant ain't do nothing. And it's about that time to see if he's the real deal. I'm glad he's getting a title shot. You know what I mean? Because he's been on the scene for a little bit, man. But at the end of the day, man, you know he didn't even fight guys like Caleb Truex or even what's that guy's name? The dude Porky knocked out, Jalen Love. You know what I mean? Even a Gabe Rosado. These are better tests, in my opinion, for Caleb Plant on his way up to a title shot than Porky Medina. You know what I mean? So, you know, at the end of the day, I think I'm going to have to go with the guy from the Venezuelan based out of Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico. Then that's Jose Uzcategui, man. What he did to the Matrix, a lot of people were surprised. I wasn't, man. I just couldn't see the Matrix handling that pressure from Uzcategui, you know what I mean? And like the man Mike D says, he thinks Jose Uzcategui is the best 168 pounder. That division right now is lit, man. You got James DeGale there. You got George Groves. And these are guys who are now at the tail end of their careers as far as being in their prime. But I'm sure they could beat James DeGale or George Groves on any given night, can beat any of the champions at 168. You know what I mean? You got Zuda Ramirez there. He's trying to get a cannoli fight. You got Oscar Tegay, of course, WBC. You got Yildirim going to be fighting versus the dog, Anthony Durrell. You know what I'm saying? Then you have a champion, you know, in recess. What's his name? The cokehead, young boy. What's his name? David Benavidez. You know what I mean? What other belt we got? WBA. Yeah. Then you have, you know, Callum Smith, the top dog in the division. You know what I mean? That's the guy right now, man, who went through the gauntlet through that 168 World Boxing Super Series tournament, and you know he came out the victor. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give him his credit. You know what I mean? So I believe that the Matrix, I'm sorry, Uskat Tegay will probably get a stoppage. I believe a late stoppage, 10th or 11th round stoppage. I think Caleb Plant will have some moments in there. Just looking like the pure boxer and probably winning just off of style points in some rounds. But at the end of the day, the power punches, uh, and I think the more damaging punches will be laid upon by the man Uzcategui. And I don't think Caleb Plant will be able to go the distance with this guy. You know what I mean? If he had a little bit more pop, you know what I'm saying, and a guy who could knock fellas out, it'd be definitely a fight where I think he'd have a chance to win. And I'm not saying he doesn't have a chance at all, but if I had to put my money on it, I'm putting it on Uzcategui. 11th, 10th round stoppage. All right, what y'all saying in the chat? Mike D says, yeah, and Jose boxing the IQ is underrated in my opinion. Dude got some skills, slick skills, combined with this combination punching and pressure fighting style. Yeah, man, the man Caleb Plant got a lot to deal with. Brooklyn Child Boxing Talk says James DeGale, Dr. Who's got the gate. No, for sure. Them fellas became a two-time world champion when he beat what's his name? He beat Caleb Truex, and Caleb. I picked DeGale to win the rematch, but he barely did. He barely did. I think if it wasn't for the knockdown from James DeGale, I would have had that fight a draw. So he barely escaped. You know what I mean? He barely escaped beating Caleb Truex. So him dropping it versus Uzcategui, it was shameful, no question about it, because he hasn't fought nobody since. And to be honest, if he fought Uzcategui, I'm picking Uzcategui, no question about it. You know what I mean? Because Uzcategui, man, them fellas is about that life, man. This guy's a true fighter. You know what I mean? And this guy ain't taking no shorts. All right, B March Boxing, that's my prediction. I got Jose Uzcategui by stoppage, 10th or 11th round. Thanks for Brooklyn Child Boxing. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to Mike D. Thanks for coming through in the chat, and I'm gonna catch y'all on the next video. Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and let me know who you guys think gonna win this fight and how. I'm gone. Peace.